Hi, I want to talk today about the really difficult subject of abuse and coercive control. And I'm sure, like me, if you've been watching the news a lot lately and looking at some of the impacts of coronavirus, you'll have seen the alarming statistics of people that are suffering behind closed doors from domestic abuse during this period of lockdown. It's horrifying. It's just absolutely devastating. Anybody that's living in that environment while we're going through social isolation in the way that we are just must be the most awful experience for somebody. But actually, I want to use that to just remind you of an analogy that I've made a lot of times when I've talked to people about an eating disorder, and about how very closely related it can be to a person suffering from an eating disorder having a relationship with their anorexia, their bulimia, that is almost akin to a coercive and abusive relationship. Now, that might sound flippant in some ways, and I want you to understand that I'm in no way undermining how horrifying it must be for somebody to be in that genuine physical or mental abusive relationship with another being. But in so many ways, an eating disorder can get into somebody's life and can take over their world in such a way that they can have that power as if it is that coercive, abusive partner that carries out that domestic abuse type relationship. And that can play out in such a way that it's capable of allowing that person at times to feel that having a relationship with an eating disorder is wonderful and is giving them validation and is making them feel purposeful and admired and appreciated, because that's the power of an eating disorder. But in the very same way, it can cause exactly that same level of harm and just isolation, and withdraw them from all the other relationships and support that they might otherwise be having in the world. So if you're looking at your eating disorder relationship, I just want you to question yourself today and just say, all the times that you're thinking it's giving you something of benefit, look at really how much it's causing you that negative harm. The number of times that your eating disorder allows you to feel that you can't be anything without the existence of it in your world. And yet, at the same time, all your eating disorder is managing to do is withdraw you from the very people that love you and nurture you and genuinely care about you. So all those times you're having arguments with partners or parents because of your eating disorder, you're allowing that eating disorder to come between you and the people who genuinely care about you and appreciate you. And for those of you on the outside that are caring for somebody with an eating disorder, and maybe you've got that really difficult scenario of trying to have a relationship with somebody because you're a spouse or a partner or you're a parent, try and see it from time to time as if that person that you love dearly is stuck and being controlled by somebody who is incredibly coercive, incredibly controlling, and who is playing with that person's brain to at times make them feel special and worthy and loved and adored, but actually is secretly destroying them. As I say, I'm not in any way trying to say that this is identical to a relationship that somebody has with where they are in a situation of domestic abuse and domestic violence right now. But I am just saying that there are similarities and synergies that you might appreciate, whether you are either living with an eating disorder yourself or you're trying to help somebody with an eating disorder. It's an incredibly challenging relationship. So maybe if we can all just have a little bit more understanding and empathy, and equally, if we are going through the eating disorder ourselves, if we can decide to start to separate ourselves from that relationship with the disorder and say, no, I will no longer stay in this coercive relationship. Today, tomorrow, I want to move away and distance myself from that unhealthy relationship that actually, even if in the moment it allows me to feel worthy and warranted, I am going to move away from it, because long term it's destroying me. It's taking me away from the relationship that I should genuinely be having with friends and family who really do love me and who really can make me well and healthy. If you've got an experience of that and you can relate to how that feels, I'd really love to hear from you. And obviously, if you're a partner or a spouse and you want to talk that through a little bit more and understand how that's making somebody that you love feel, please by all means get in touch, and I'd really happily discuss that in more detail with you. I hope that helps for today, and I wish you a well and happy and healthy week.